This conspiracy goes far up the food chain. Atlantis was destroyed by delivery gone bad, and the group that's facing them has been doing it since kitchens were invented.
Ooh. Good afternoon, ladies and germs. My name's Scott Cleverdon.
My name is Assumpta Serna. Good afternoon.
I had to desperately try and speak the right language there. And well, today is the 20th of September in the year of our Lord 2023, and we're blessed to have Mr. Vince Mirabile. That's how I would say it, although I'm sure Americans would probably say Mirabile. You tell us how to say it, Vince. You know better than anybody.
Seems Italian, the
Mirabile.
Mirabile, yes.
Mirabile. What is it? Does it mean something?
Uh,
She speaks Italian.
Well, Mirabello, but Mirabile.
Mirabile. If you say it like that, if you do that with your hand,
Yeah,
it sounds
much
Italian.
better.
Yeah,
Mirabile.
it's always good.
Mirabile.
All right,
You
so we
see?
were correct. Mirabile.
Good.
Fuck, there you go. So, as you could probably tell, we are actually not in the United States of America. We are actually here in Madrid, Spain, where it's currently 8 p.m. at night. Why don't we just do a whole without further ado, and we say what we're about to do, my dear.
Yes, but I'd like you to do the clap so that I can do this.
All right, you're going to do the thing?
Yes.
Do you know which one you're going to do? How about this one? You see that one there?
This one.
Yeah, but
Okay,
first we're
good.
going to do this. All right, so tonight we're going to be analyzing a showreel. Well, we're also very blessed to have with us this evening a good fella who's a friend of mine over there in the West Indies, very promising young actor. Vince, who I believe is in Florida right now. So it's you often read news about the Florida man, but here we actually have one with us this evening.
And we have a South African lady.
And what's South African name? Saskia van Reinfeldt.
Living in London, right?
Living in Cambridge, actually.
Cambridge. And is coming here in Madrid very soon.
Yeah. Living in sin. I always loved that. I thought that'd be a great name for a town. Where do you live? I live in Sin. Oh, really? What's her name? No, not like that. So let me... Florida man checking in. Love it, Vince. All right. You go. What a great thing to do is what you do is you take your birthday and then you put it into Google and then you write Florida man afterwards. And I swear to God, every single day of the year has another Florida man story. Or Florida woman. I mean, there's like one for each day of the year. You understand why, right?
Yes, because it seems that it's a very characteristic...
Well, there's a lot of wild stuff that happens in Florida, but it would be described as California man or Maine man or, I don't know, Delawarean man. But Florida man...
Florida man is a tough one, I suppose.
There's a lot of humidity and things that will kill you in swamps. Right, okay. So, I live in Cocine. Is that Cocine or Cocine? That's my next question.
It's una cosina.
Una cosina.
Le cosine. Cosine is also Italian. It's little things.
Well,
You know that,
fanculo.
It's nice. It's nice. You have Italian two times.
Yeah, I'm interested, Vince, what your point of origin is. No es en español, así entero. Esta que
No, JC Ávila no es en español hoy, pero son los lunes, miércoles y viernes. Hoy es en inglés, pero bueno, así practicas si quieres.
So she's explaining that today's in English. Normally we do this in Spanish. Vince says, I live in Tangent. Well, that's just going off in the wrong direction, isn't it? Anyway, tangential thinking is what we're doing. Okay, so this is what we do on a Thursday. We do this other nights of the week, but on a Thursday we do it specifically in English. You and I have made between us probably 200 odd films and God knows how many TV shows. You speak 6 languages. I only speak 2.
Very well, I must say.
Yeah, we have between us about 70 years worth of experience working in film and television as actors. We also have been working together closely for the last 20 years teaching film acting. We're currently working on our latest book, which is called The Science of Acting. Well, its full title is Killing Macbeth, The End of Superstition and the Science of Acting, but we're going to have to cut it down. So anyway, that's the story.
So how many years you say that?
How many years you and I have been teaching film acting for approximately 103 years.
My goodness.
Yes.
Anyway, here we are. We are very glad to have today a video book because, demo reels. Why demo reels is good for us? Because we get to know also other states of demo reels in other parts of the globe. We are also having a great opportunity to talk about the things that we like the most and we know the most, which is acting on camera. And I think that is win-win for everybody. So tell us, Scott, how we're going to approach this.
Okay, so what we normally do is we have a three-pronged approach to any particular showreel that comes across our midship. The first thing we do is we look at the material that's chosen, exactly whether it's appropriate, whether it's the best thing for you, whether you should be doing something different, right, in terms of choosing material. Why do we say that? A lot of the stuff that people will be putting in their reels are things that they've shot themselves or with a company or perhaps friends who have helped them shoot it. That's one thing. The second thing we look at is technically. How does it sound? How does it look? Is the editing good? Is it bad? Does it work? That's something you're going to hear a lot from us is, does it work? Because one of the things which is important is to not look at things from the point of view of good and bad. Okay? We work on the premise that every single actor has the possibility of being an abject genius, being completely authentic, real, and natural whenever they want. Why? Because they do it 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year when they're not acting. So there's no reason why they can't do it when somebody shouts action. What our job is when we're teaching people is we've got to get you back to that authenticity that you have, that you may not like, but it's yours, and move forward. So that's the first thing. The first thing is the material, the actual stuff that you're doing. The second thing is the technical aspects of it. And the third thing is the performance, the acting of it therein. Okay? What happens is when you got something which works on all three counts, then you got something to reckon
You have a
with.
10. You have a 10.
Yeah. The important thing is, and this is very important, which all actors should really take a couple of steps back from, is that when they're actually attempting to put together material for their reel, and you've said I've got 3, right? I actually have 6, right, from Vince.
6?
I got 6. I got his 2019 version and I got his 2023 version.
Well, let's see 2023 because we don't have time to.
No. I know.
Yeah,
And there's and I've got 3. And this is something which we don't see very often. We have seen it before, but it's not very often that we have a sizzle reel, and Assumpta went, What is that? And the sizzle reel, which is kind of a trailer for the other reels.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have a comedy reel, and then we have a drama reel.
Okay, let's see the trailer first. I don't know why a trailer is good, but let's see it because perhaps it's a new thing that they do in America and I like to see it.
Okay, so what we do is that we watch it all the way through and then we go back over it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we want to watch it as a whole. I've seen them all. Assumpta hasn't seen any of them so far.
Exactly. So that is the first. That's like a director, casting directors, and directors and producers. They're going to see it, for the first time, and that is important. This point of view because that is what makes us important or not for these people to see it again.
Okay, Vince says most of them have a lot of the same footage. Yeah, okay. I'm aware of that, but that's okay. One of the things that we do sometimes is somebody will send me a reel, and I'll go, there's a lot of things that work here, but there's something missing. And I'll actually go to their YouTube page, and I'll actually sneakily download some of the other stuff that they've done, some of the stuff which I think is useful. Some of the stuff which I think shows them in a better light. You'd be surprised that sometimes I've seen a self-tape that somebody's recorded which is actually better than their edited together showreel. You have a certain advantage with a self-tape because nobody's expecting you to shoot, Lord of the Rings. You're supposed to be there with a plain background, with a phone camera, with the sound which is half decent, and all they're seeing is your performance. So there are certain things that you see within that kind of, let's face facts, shitty context, which can actually shine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
also, I'm very happy that you do that because I don't think that there is a definite show reel. Never, and so it's very good that you do different versions because really the comedy they want to do is, to see certain things. If it's in a more dramatic style, they want to see that. So it's always good that you have and this thing of the trailer or the sizzle, right? It's called sizzle.
Sizzle reel.
Sizzle reel.
You know what the sizzle is? When you if you threw water in hot oil, that's sizzling.
Sizzling.
Or
that's very
like
nice.
Bacon sizzles.
That's very nice.
That's one of the chief components of the attraction of bacon is it's sizzling.
Well,
it's sizzlage.
Here we don't have bacon. Here we have a wonderful actor that wants to be seen in a lot of other formats for to please everybody, which is good. So let's see the sizzle. Sorry.
Let's see the sizzle. Let's Let's see the sizzle. All right, let's put the sizzle on. All right, let me just make sure I've got the...
Detective Columbob? No.
Right, okay, hang on a second, because I was halfway through that. No, I don't want that. Right, 1 second. Source. Video file. Oh, yeah, we're in the right place. Okay, here we go.
You think I want to make a documentary about the great Detective Columbob? No. I want to expose him for the incompetent fraud that he is. And if your stupid ancient banana company had simply given me the option to have my receipt texted or emailed to me, I would have been able to... I think you'll find it quite comfortable here. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Let me out of here. Please.
Mary. Such a pure name.
Let me out of here.
This is exactly what I was telling you about all this time. It's all real. I detailed every single thing in my book. If you look at the... I'm not crazy, goddammit, I told you! When you could save so much time by just looking right in front of you. Better hurry, detective. You got a little girl to find.
Okay. This be the reel of sizzleage. Right? This is the sizzle reel.
Okay.
Okay, let's first of all let me just check to see how long it is. Okay.
You think I want to
Okay,
make a
it's short. It's
documentary-
1 minute 5 seconds
Can
long.
I see the first image that you have there?
Here. Okay.
So it's only.
You think
that.
I want to make a
Oh,
documentary
it's a little bit
about the
short,
great-
isn't it?
Yeah. What's our rule?
Huh?
What's our rule?
Our rule is how many seconds?
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
You had one job, just to remember what the rule was, and you already forgot it. I don't know why I bother
the
sometimes.
Technical thing.
Right. This is what we've come across, Vince, and we can back this up with hard science. Is that if you're going to put your face and your name at the start of the reel, which is fine, I think it's good policy, but you're going to make it last 4 seconds. 3 seconds is too short. 5 is way too long. Anything below 4 is, right, that's what you get, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do, there's a reason for 4 seconds, and why is it scientific law? Well, you can't look anybody in the eye for longer than 4 seconds. That's one thing. That's scientifically proven. After a study with University College London, they discovered that the average time that somebody could hold the gaze of another person was 3.2 seconds, plus or minus 1 second. Men have a tendency to hold their gaze when they're looking at women slightly longer. Anyway, what can you do?
Well, he says, I was told by an industry pro to make it less than a second.
All right. I don't know who this industry pro is, but they can kiss. No. The point is that you're going to have a lot of people of varying different experiences. But for somebody to actually see it, register your name, they need 4 seconds.
And do you know why? I mean, you know what? I think that now is silent with anything, so you lose really the name. You have to have like something at the beginning that is like a call for attention, because if not, you know, the people just is gonna see what is, your scream, or I mean your words, but you want them to see your name.
You need like a sting,
Exactly.
like this. That's not a good sting. I got some other stings. I'm sure I could find them. But basically, it's something which is called.
That was awful, Scott.
That was. I think that's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's
thing
the worst one.
that you could actually.
If you're French, you could put this.
Good.
No, you could just.
No,
No,
please,
if you were French.
please, no.
But anyway, a sting. What I mean is a short piece of music, like a little musical sting, which lasts 4 seconds.
Yeah, you have to
Boo-doo-doom,
find
something
it.
like that.
Yeah, yes, it's like a fanfare, something that really goes into into eyes and ears are forced to go wherever you are. So I think, yeah, something like that is nice.
I don't know, something. No, obviously not a rim shot, but something which draws. You're already attracting people's attention physically. I mean, visually. The idea would be to attract their attention audibly. There's another reason for that, is that it lets them know that there's sound to this. It's a very. What happens if you start watching a reel? If you start watching a reel and there's no sound whatsoever, you go, "Is there sound to this?" Are my
Yes.
headphones plugged in? Am I listening to this?
I don't like that. I think that it has to be something at the beginning to understand that everything is correct, and you don't want to lose time on the thinking on that when you are already acting. So you have to do that a little bit earlier. And 2 seconds is really too short. Too short in a second. A second is impossible. I don't think that is a good advice. Of course.
And the other reason is that if you have any subtitle on screen, you invariably need 3 to 4 seconds to be able to read it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just not possible otherwise.
It's not more, because as Scott says, there is a scientific reason why it has to be 4. It's you cannot look at something that has no stimulus for more than 4 seconds, and that happens also with the when you are seeing someone, you're watching someone.
It's getting to the stage with from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail when it has the instructions of how to throw the holy hand grenade of Antioch. It's like, 4 shall be the number of the counting,
Really?
not 2 nor 1, no 8 nor 9. That is way off. It's all that kind of thing. Right. So we've established that. You can give it a little bit more time. It needs to breathe. We need to be able to hear something which draws our attention to it. Another trick you can do, which also works very well, is you start the audio of the scene before we get to the image of the scene. Okay, what we call a J-cut, which means that the audio will start off
a little bit earlier.
It will start off on the card, and what it'll do is it will smoothly bring us into the scene, whatever it might be.
Okay, that is also a nice thing to do.
So that's the sizzle reel. I'd like to go and watch either the dramatic reel or the comedic reel, because that was only 1 minute, and a lot of the things which are in this we're going to see in the other one as well.
Okay.
So what do you want, comedy or drama?
Yes, I only can see. Let's see comedy.
Okay.
What I like to understand is that I think that is fine. You see like a variety of things that you do, which is interesting. But what I feel that is your acting is a little bit pushing. It's a bit, is a little bit push. I know that there is one that is comedy, and I suppose there is a show that is for kids or whatever, and they are always, you overact a little bit more, But even in the other ones, I think that the pushing thing of, saying exactly, with the voice, with, it's just nice because you can see that, you really can talk fast, but at the same time, we need something that that really goes into what are your thoughts when this quality of an actor that gives us not the the smaller roles, but also something that you have time to really appreciate your acting. Of course, it's a trailer. Of course, there is no time for that. But you can also slow down a little bit the rhythm of your own energy, because it's an energy that for 2 minutes is a little bit trepidante.
Frenetic.
Frenetic,
Frenetic is the word.
And I think you can modulate that if you have like a piece that is more just acting, and a close up or something.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's like everything is pushing and the energy is very up, and we get a little bit tired after 1 minute. But let's see the comedy one.
You want to see the comedy one? Okay, let me just go ahead and pop over here and change it.
Great Detective Columbo.
Okay, so and we're gonna come here. Comic reel.
Screw Plan A. I'm not chopping up anybody. You think I wanted to make a documentary about the great Detective Columbo? No. I wanted to expose him for the incompetent fraud that he is. And if your stupid ancient banana company had simply given me the option to have my receipt texted or emailed to me, I would have been able to... I tell you, this conspiracy goes far up the food chain. Atlantis was destroyed by delivery gone bad, and the group that's facing them has been doing it since kitchens were invented. I uncover everything in my book, Fork, Knife, and Spoon. Trust no one. Pizza place was an inside job. Delivery guys are aliens. Fast food causes microchips. It's just hard.
Okay, that's nice.
Howdy, folks. You like blood, violence, freaks of nature? Then come on down to Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen.
Okay. All right, well that happened. Right. Okay, so there's some nice things. There's some nice things in here. Okay, I'm gonna. In terms of the material, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the context of it. Let me know whether they're short films, they're stuff that you shot
Some
specifically
TV
for you,
shows.
whatever it might be. Let us know, because that will help us in trying to work out what we can advise you to choose that's going to show you off in your best light. Okay, there's a cut in here which should happen sooner. Okay, the other thing in terms of technically is that you've got this guy screaming and then we go into you in dialogue. The trouble is that the scream, if you use editing software, that scream is going to be like -8 decibels on the meter, maybe -6 or even higher. The trouble is that your dialogue comes in much, much quieter. So the trouble is when you got somebody screaming, if it's really loud, people will turn it down. Okay, right? People will.
So pretty much all of these are short films, he says.
Okay, that's what he says here, and I'd like to also welcome Jim Talbot. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Who's over there in fair England, right? So one of the things that technically happens is you got the screaming, which is very, very loud. It's got a very high volume, and then you come in with dialogue, which is sort of, it's projected, but it's very quiet compared to the other thing. Take that down. Take the screaming down, okay? Because you want it all to be the same. You don't want people reaching for the dial to increase or decrease the volume. That's just a purely technical thing. As you probably know, all film and television is mixed within a very specific dynamic range of volume. From a gunshot to a sigh to an explosion to a whisper, they're all pretty much around -12 decibels. Okay? One of the things that happens if you're doing short films is you're not necessarily dealing with people who've paid for a really good mix. Okay? A good sound mix is all the difference between something sounding professional and not. That's all I can say. People who know how to mix sound, well, it's voodoo, because you can't do it visually. You can't hear something and go, well, you know what? That just needs a little bit more in the 43,000 megahertz range. That's what it is. No, it's very, very tricky to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch it again and stop and start. Because this is very short as well, okay?
Yes.
This is more of a sizzle from my point of view.
Screw plan A, I'm not chopping up anybody.
Right, okay, if you want the comedy cut, right? The comedy cut, which is right, this is the comedy cut.
Not chopping up anybody.
Okay, let me just go back to the start because I screwed up my own cut. Right, okay, go.
Screw plan A, I'm not chopping up anybody.
That's your comedy cut, right? Screw anybody, I'm not chopping up anybody. Okay? Right? Because otherwise what happens is the guy with the scream takes over the protagonist, he becomes the protagonist of the scene. Mm-hmm. Okay? Same thing happens in the next one. Right?
Yes.
And it's very ugly to listen to, and it stops being funny.
You think I want to make a
You hear the difference in the volume?
See? Yes, I mean...
documentary about the great detective Columbob? No. I want to expose
Yeah.
him for
Here
the
it has to be
incompetent fraud
higher.
that he is. And if you're stupid...
And also because it's a general shot, which means that the way it was recorded meant the microphone was further away, which means we're lacking presence in your voice. Okay, this might be a job for Adobe Audition or perhaps one of the sound plugins in Premiere, because your voice just doesn't have the body to it. Anyway,
That is the way they was recorded, but you can improve it, right?
up to a point.
Up to a point. Well, see if you can improve it as much as you can.
Yeah, but it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Given me the option to have my receipt texted or emailed to me, I would have been able to...
Right, that's the other cut. Right?
Yeah, because when we don't need to see the guy, the clown. We need only, and it's because it's a comedy. You need also to have this tempo and the rhythm right, so that that we are, you are surprised, and that's what you want in a comedy reel, right?
And also, I'm going to give you a very tactical reason why not to do it, because the guy who's not a clown, he's a mime. As we know, mime is money. When he does it, he hits you, you fall, and he is completely without inflection. He's funny. He steals it because he has no inflection. It's a little bit like those moments in The Office when something happens, when Michael Scott says something particularly scandalous and everybody goes. Their lack of inflection is what makes it funny. Mm-hmm. That's why cat videos are funny, because cats They don't do facial expressions. So it's us investing in their absolute lack of inflection as to what goes on.
So we are attracted to that, and we don't want, Scott and I, we don't want you to be, we want you to be the center of attention, not the other guy. So, I think that to make it right, we should do it in that moment that Scott says. Believe him, he's really a master of comedy.
Thanks. Anyway, so, right, moving along. I'm going to show you why the mime steals it. You got to watch out for those mimes. They're silent killers. I just thought of that. That's pretty funny, right? Silent killers. Anyway, God, don't pay any attention to me. Right, so, okay, so you have this whole thing.
And if you're stupid,
I would do it a little bit after, because I like when he changes. I don't know if it's going to be funny.
The option to have my
Here, you see?
or emailed to me, I would have been able to...
Boom. Cut.
Yeah. You see,
I would
watch the mime steal it.
I tell you.
Right? I mean, because he's not doing
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
Bloody mimes.
This conspiracy goes far up the food chain.
Right.
Okay.
Look, I really like this. If I was looking for somebody to play the crazed conspiracy theorist, you would pretty much be at the top of my list right now. Okay? You this sort of manic tone thing, you can plug into that really, really easily. You've got a voice with enormous range, and it has a great quality to it, which I really, really like. And this is like pedal to the metal, full-blown commitment. And it's great to see.
Yes.
There's absolutely, you don't put a foot wrong here, okay? Loving this to bits.
Atlantis was destroyed by delivery gone bad, and the group that's facing them has been doing it since kitchens were invented. I uncover everything in my book, Fork, Knife, and Spoon. Trust no one. Pizza place was an inside job. Delivery guys are aliens. Fast food causes microacidic. It's just harder.
That's good. If that is from a show that is, something that had been broadcast or something, I would put it because, someone is going to remember it. But if it's not,
Which one are you talking about? The
the
one in the
last
car?
one, the last
In the car? Oh, the bit with the clown, the evil clown?
Not the evil clown.
You don't mean this
Hey,
guy?
folks,
This guy, yes.
you like blood?
He's an evil clown.
Oh, he's an evil clown.
He's what we call an evil clown.
Okay, so they see. I wouldn't put it. I don't know. There is a quality of that there that is kind of fake, and I don't know if it's because it's coming from a mime point of view or something that I don't. We don't see you as an actor.
Well, look, that's
the thing.
This is the thing I would say. It's interesting what he says. He says, all from short films, he says, subtlety is my mortal enemy, right? My suggestion wouldn't be, it's not subtlety as your mortal enemy. What you have a tendency to do, and you do it very, very well, right? Look, there's great things. It reminds me of Beetlejuice, very much so. Very much so. You got to remember that Michael Keaton was pretty much a stand-up comic before he did Sent Elsewhere and became an actor, a proper actor. It's not about subtlety. It's the danger you have, and this is the problem I always say about actors, is the reason that we are actors in the first place is the same reason we can't be better actors. First of all, actors, they never become actors because they had a happy childhood. They were accustomed to manipulating their surroundings, so everybody was nice to them, so they didn't get bullied, so they didn't get tortured, so they didn't get abused, whatever it might be. But there's something which developed in our brains very early on, which was a capacity, speaking neuroscientifically, neurologically, is to basically create a second layer of executive function that we can assume is real. Okay, the executive function is the thing that stops you walking into traffic. The executive function that the actor has is, I'm not going to walk into traffic unless I know the traffic is supposed to be stopped because we're shooting, right? It's our capacity to overcome what is a normal instinctual response to the world. And then on top of that, that's what we control our metacognition, which is the thing that allows us to do what we're doing and judge what we're doing while we're doing it. Okay, it's very complicated. Whenever I start explaining this shit, I always think, why did I start? What I'm saying is, the need to be something else, to project something else, to adopt the attitude of something else is the thing that stops us doing the thing which is where all our power lies, which is the authenticity of who and what we are. That's where we have to start from. This is a pill that we take, not an overcoat that we put on. Okay? You have a great look, you've got a brilliant voice, you've got presence on camera. You've got all of those things.
You're big. You're imponent.
Yeah, but the issue is that you have this need to
Please
impress us,
impress or push,
impress us with the character that you're playing.
Yeah.
I got bad news for you and all the other actors who may see this now, tomorrow, or in 10 years' time. There is no such thing as character. All there are various aspects of who we happen to be. Okay, and who we happen to be is the most interesting person that we know or can ever know. That's the thing. In our lives, we have been wise, we have been foolish, we have been in love, we have been clever, we have been filled with hatred, and everything in between. We have been Hamlet, we have been Henry V, we have been John Wick. We've done all of those things. That's why we watch fictional characters and find something to relate in them. What you and every actor needs to do is to start out from that very quiet voice of who you are. That's where it has to come from. Now, these other things, which are the screaming conspiracy theorist, they are the crazy clown who's welcoming you into his house of terrors. They're the guy with the knife at the throat or the gun at the head of the kidnap victim, whatever. All of those things are, in particular, character types. What we're going to see in the dramatic thing that we're going to watch right now is particularly where you do not have to push. You can just be allowed to be. Now, I don't know what your training is. I don't know where you went to school, if you went to school at all. But one of the things that you have to understand is that you sitting, eating a sandwich on camera is the most interesting thing you could ever pull off. Okay? That's where it starts out.
Yeah, don't think that it has to be any extreme at all, any extreme of emotion, any extreme of, I think, the crazy one is something that you really do well. Okay, that is what I have to show. But I like to see other material of you where you really, you are calm. We enter your thoughts. You have so many interesting things, I'm sure, to say emotionally and also, intellectually. I want to see that. I want these thoughts to appear, because that is what it's gonna give me. Oh yeah, he's a good actor. Right now, I see stereotypes. And what I want to see is you as an actor to give you this wonderful role that you need, that is this lead, okay? Without pushing, just by being there and accepting the camera and sharing with the camera your inner thoughts. That is what I want to see. But perhaps you have it on the other one. No?
Yeah, it's very important, because one of the things that that people do, particularly in their reels, and there's no crime here if you've been hired to go and do a job and this is the role you played, is that what people do is they very often cast themselves in the secondary role in their own reel.
Yes.
There's a great man who once said the reason why we're so insecure is that we compare everybody else's highlight reel to our own behind the scenes footage. Okay, one of the things that we need is a highlight reel. Okay, the highlight reel is not screaming, it's not torturing, it's not histrionic X, Y, or Z. What it really is allowing us into your head and seeing what you think. One of the problems that we have as actors is that we are actors because we're trying to hide what we're thinking. Okay.
Or who we are.
Yeah.
And here is sit yourself comfortably into the wonderful lenses that is the camera, which is the other person, and just being you, being you when you are alone, being you when you sharing with someone something that it really matters. That's what we want to see, And I think the material is very important also on, choosing the material that is right for you, and the material, of this crazy guy, we already know it, that you can do it very well. Now, as from an actor's point of view, we need to have, someone that we can love, that we can love.
Yeah, and I need somebody who's a little bit more alpha. I need somebody who's a little bit more sigma. Let's take it there. I need somebody who, and this is a very difficult thing to sort of explain from us to you over there in Florida through the filter of what your material is that take any piece of text, dramatic text or whatever it is, and the objective is not to impress anybody. The objective is not to show character. The objective is simply to make it sound like it's you talking. It sounds very, very simple. And it should be. But the difficulty is that when we get into this space, this acting space, this place where we're used to dancing, and particularly if you come from theatre, you're used to inhabiting a much larger space. As we always say, that the shape of acting in the theatre is convex. You reach them. And on camera, it's concave. The camera comes to you. Okay? You just have to receive and welcome the attention of the camera. That's the important thing there. And what happens is you become more charismatic. You've got a greater presence. It's like that idea, if you're in a bar, the girl wants to speak to the person who's ignoring them. It's a little bit like that. That what you do is you accept the attention of the camera and understand that whatever you're doing is more than enough, and just in the context of who you are. Let's go watch the dramatic one.
Yeah, more than enough. But first of all, I want to see what Vince says. He says, I was bullied as a kid. Everyone called me a weirdo, and I decided to lean into it.
So, was I right? Or was I right? Trust you me, this is the one thing that I've discovered that all actors and actresses have in common. You'll find a very beautiful, smart actress, and you're going, why is she an actress? And you go, well, it's because she was beautiful and smart and was bullied mercilessly. That's certainly a thing that I've seen with many attractive young actresses.
Yeah, and one of the motors that we have to be there is because we have to prove something to someone or even ourselves, So this thing of proving it goes against you in the acting on camera. Yeah? It goes really against you because you see this will, this muscle to really in your face, and what we want is the contrary, as he says, is let the camera enter on you, and you just being there with your presence, which is wonderful, and you are who you are. So that is going to be a really big change on the way that you're acting, and we're going to appreciate it as spectators, because right now it's a little bit of something that yells at us, and we get a little bit tired, right?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a little bit. I understand that thing. What happens with so many people who become actors? They were bullied, they were abused. Sometimes terribly. They lost a parent. They were the subject of divorce. There's many different reasons why the child develops these particular odd skills, which allows them to be actors. The important thing there is that you already have a very, very dangerous skill set, which is your capacity to manipulate your environment and the reality that others perceive. That's already voodoo. That's already a superpower, okay? The trick is to know the power that you have in it and understand your capacity to be dangerous. One of the things that happens with particularly young men is that they are disenfranchised, they're made to feel weak, and they're very often filled with rage, which then will go into other things, and sometimes it will often dissipate. The important thing is for us to understand our masculinity, understand our capacity for evil, cruelty, barbarism, violence, and all the rest of it, and make our peace with it. One of the things that all successful actors and actresses, I would posit, is an understanding of their own capacity for being dangerous.
Yeah, and
you're pretty dangerous.
Yes, I know.
She is.
No, but everybody has this dark side. Look at the actor that recently had this lawsuit.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. It comes from a very dark place in his family.
Very dark place. Yeah.
In everything.
When also Amber Heard. I mean, look, Amber Heard. The worst thing happened to her, which is the other alternative, and you'll come across this a lot, which is that people suffer from psychological issues like borderline personality disorder because of that abuse, and it manifests itself differently in men and women, but it's a very particular thing, and it's something that has to be dealt with. And it's interesting. I don't want to quote Jordan Peterson here, but you have to, stand up straight with your shoulders back and understand how capable you are of being the bad guy. Okay, when you understand that you can be the bad guy, you don't have to try. That's one of the things. And this is what we're going to go and see here. Incidentally, Vince Mirabile says he's holding a plantain to his throat. Unfortunately, Goodfella says plantain is delicious. It's delicioso, which I concur. So those are interesting things. The other thing is that he said he grew up
doing theater at the end, and that is very interesting because, of course, theater. When you do theater, when you do amateurish theater, when you do theater for children, when you do
let's just say when you do amateur, not amateurish. Amateurish sounds terrible.
Okay, amateur.
It's a thing in translation, trust me.
Sorry. Then, you have a lot of time that you do that until you get a job and they call you and, they pay you. And by then, if it depends on the people that you encountered in your life. If you don't have this... You are take certain abilities that is what you are identifying as acting. It really eats you, So you have to also do for cinema and movies just a little adjustment because it's not the same. And we want you to do characters that they are not extreme. We want to do normal guys, so for you to be able to leave from that job, right?
Well, the other thing I would suggest is have you as something else to do, have you done voiceovers and stuff? Because you've got a great voice for that. You've got a great clean, clear voice,
and so fast he speaks.
Yeah. Look, my voiceover work. That's me. This is certainly something I really think you can do because you've got such a nice quality to your voice. Anyway, let's go watch the other one. Okay?
Yes, because I'm interested really now to see the other one. See if there is these moments of quietness and
violence, freaks of nature.
All right,
then come on down to Captain.
We're not a fan of that. Okay.
No.
Is there anything else there? No, I think that's it. All right, so we're gonna go. Vince. Where is he? Dramatic, okay.
Love can be all sorts of things. I think you'll find it quite comfortable here. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Let me out of here. Please.
Mary. Such a pure name.
Let me out of here.
Honestly, though, when you look at me, don't you ever think, if only he had never existed, I would have avoided, a massive heap of trouble,
Absolutely not. I love you totally and completely. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
I just feel bad for you.
What's so funny?
You're a dead man, Alessio. You kill me, he's just gonna send another hitman. He knows about the coup. About Max. No way you were laying to walk out of New York alive.
No way you walk out of this restaurant alive.
Let's go, Alessio. Kill him.
Wait. Now, unless you feel like dying today, and I very much suspect that you don't, swear.
What?
Swear your allegiance. Betray my father and the Montour crime family, work for me, and I'll let you walk away with your life.
What are you, crazy? I'm not gonna be a fucking rat. He'll kill me.
Cosa pensi che farò?
Juro.
You remember my old apartment in Brooklyn? Meet me there tonight.
Nothing is ever as it seems.
I don't have time for a killer like you.
Always about time with you bunch, isn't it? Yet you don't seem to mind wasting it, sitting around, patting each other on the back with your badges and your uniforms and your hypocrisy, when you could save so much time by just looking right in front of you.
Better hurry, detective. You got a little girl to find.
There's not a single bar in this town you can hide in.
Piss off.
Look, I know you think you can walk away from this, but trust me when I say it's not that simple. The boss will wreck anybody and break any bones he needs to get what he wants. I don't want to see you in the way of that.
Buddy, I've been on that list for a long time. We all are.
Well, you're on top of that list. Do yourself a favor. Get on the boss's good side.
I'm already a dead man.
And that's it.
Well, very interesting. Let's go from the beginning because it's already late. It's only 10 minutes. No. We must have a little bit more time with you.
Love can be all sorts
Okay,
of things.
let me stop you right there. My problem there is that I don't believe it. I don't believe it because the woman has, too much freedom on her legs. It's not tied up. I don't believe in that.
You know why actors get accused of being difficult? They get accused of being difficult going, this doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the audience thinks like the actor in that moment. They go, no. Yeah. She would do everything in her power to get away from this lunatic.
Exactly.
So,
she could, how you say that, patadas.
She could kick him. She'd do any one of a number of things.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things. And look, we as actors were told we think we're supposed to do what the director tells us. I got really bad news for you. Most people shooting short films, and in fact, most people working professionally as directors, don't know how to direct an actor. They don't know what acting is. They don't know how it works. All they're doing is they're getting you to imitate something they've seen in another movie for the most part. Like the scene at the end, which is the interrogation. I've got bad news for the director. Heath Ledger already did it in The Dark Knight, and he had an excuse because he was 100% an agent of chaos. That's the story. That's how that works. The trouble is that most people making short films are imitating other people who are imitating other filmmakers. And we've got to be very careful that what they're not asking us to do is to imitate some other actor who was imitating another actor in turn. The trouble we've got here, apart from the fact that we don't believe that she's in jeopardy, which is the thing, is that you're playing a crazy serial killer guy. And the trouble is that you're a crazy person seeing crazy things in a crazy way, in a crazy context. And by the end of that, and this is not your fault because it's the director, by the end of that, the audience goes, do you need me right now? Because I got nothing to work out. Okay?
Yes. You have to generate questions to the audience. You cannot explain everything at the first second that you see it,
Because it's if you're there, instead of that, if you were there completely impassive saying, this is what I'm going to do, it would be terrifying.
Yeah.
It'd be terrifying because we've got to go, we don't know really what your intentions are.
So
but
we are hooked on
but
whatever
if you're a
you
bad
do.
guy, being a bad guy in a bad way, saying it in a menacing, this is a thing which is very, very important for actors, and it becomes a shortcut for when people are working in theatre. Okay, we need everybody to get exactly what we're doing in the moment that we do it. Okay, which is also wrong as far as I'm concerned, and it's not the most interesting thing. We fall down because we're playing attitudes. Okay, the trouble is, the attitude is something that we decide upon from the outside. It's not the attitude that we do when we're engaged in something. If I'm desperately trying to get onto the flight because I got to go and see the love of my life, etc., that's what I'm doing. I'm not acting like a crazy person. Acting like a crazy person is a side effect of wanting to get on that flight. Okay? The thing that we got here is specifically somebody who has somebody tied up and they're going to do terrible things to them, kill them or whatever, right? They're hypothetically in control. One of the reasons that people do this, if you want to play armchair psychologist for a second, is because it's all about being in control. The buzz comes from the fact that I can do whatever I want and take as much time as I want because I got nothing to fight against. Because basically, I'm fighting against what my mother did to me when I was 7 years old. That's what
Vince,
John Douglas would say about this.
Vince, it has to be better. Has to be better lit. It has to be better. The camera is not good wherever it is. I wouldn't put this one. I would just forget about it. It's a good experience. It's a good, shooting, whatever. The time that you had been, doing that. But I think it harms you, because everything is not right. It doesn't work. So if the position of the camera doesn't work, if the actors can actually, you feel that it's not in jeopardy. If you are, on top of that, you are really, underlining everything about, I am a bad guy, nothing works. Okay, so doesn't matter. You take it from there, and it's something good that you learn.
Well, look,
we always do things like that, at the beginning. And if you are coming from theater and that's your first demo reel, it's very understanding that you do all these kind of, errors, mistakes. I don't think that you have to, to show with them though. I think that it's a good advice from us anyway.
No, it's one of the look. I've said this before, but I always start out from the point of view that every actor we work with are geniuses. I just need to make them understand how. Just need to get them to see it. I just need to get everybody to stop pushing and be. And the interesting thing with it, and that's why I say about directing, Vince actually says here, he says, a lot of these drama clips were made for my reel specifically, the bed, the interrogation, the bar. The bar is my least favorite. Well, we're gonna go through this briefly again. I don't know who directed it. Maybe you did. Okay? If you were the director, you need to fire him. Okay? No, because it's very, very difficult to do this sort of thing on your own, particularly if it's in a medium that you're not used to. Your relationship with the camera is the relationship you would have with a good friend sitting next to somebody you're talking to in a bar. This person who's watching you, paying attention to you, and wants to know what you're thinking. And you're sharing what you're thinking with this person. That's your relationship with the camera. You're not going to look at it, but you're very conscious that it's there. The other thing being is that microphones, when they're well recorded, you really don't have to project at all. In fact, what you want is everybody to lean in, to listen. Okay? The inflection is not only in terms of acting, but in terms of vocally and in terms of physically what we're doing. All of that stuff that you learn in the theater, projection, diction, clarity, throw it out the window. It's not needed here. They asked Michelangelo how he could manage to sculpt such beautiful angels from a block of marble. He said, it's simple. I just remove everything that isn't an angel. The trouble is when we're acting on camera, we have to remove everything. That's the actor. The actor part of it is the thing that kills us because it carries a physical, vocal, and performance technique which is not only is it not needed and not necessary, it's actively dangerous against what we're doing.
Yes.
I only say, we say that our objective is always the best for everybody, and we're not going to sugarcoat it because you've got this great presence, you've got this great voice, you've got all of these things going on, and the thing is, I just instead of the weight forward like this, I just need you to relax your ass and sit into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's shall we go back to the start?
Well, I like to go after this one that we saw.
After this one.
Exactly.
I
because
think you'll find
we already
it quite
stated that is not something that is
but you see, it's
believable.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
You see, you're showing
Let
you're a
me
bad
out of
guy.
here.
You see?
We don't believe that she's not kicking, she's
Yeah.
not doing anything like that.
Please.
Mary. Such a pure name.
Let me out of here.
Honestly, though, when you
Wow,
look at me...
what happened to you? You are looking here at another guy.
So we dropped about 20 pounds there. What's going on? What's going on? I think this is like pre-pandemic. It's true. It's in another reels, and this is like 2018, 2019.
Okay.
Which feels like yesterday, but
It's not.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, it's 4 years ago. All right.
Don't you ever think, like, if only he had never existed, I would have avoided, like, a massive heap of trouble,
Right. You illustrate a thing that we talk about a lot. Okay?
Yes.
It's what we call in Spanish la mirada fija. Okay? It's the fixed stare. This is when actors are talking to other people and they keep looking them in the eye and they don't look anywhere else and they don't go to gather their thoughts anywhere, and they keep looking them in the eye, and this is how they speak. They're kind of scared that they're going to look at the camera. They don't want anybody to think that they're not focused on what they're doing. In neurological terms, that's your executive function, closing down the levels of distraction to just simply you and them. I'm going to give you something that we had a revelation with a few years ago, and it's this very
definitely pre-pandemic, and also when I used to have hair.
Well, everything is possible, dude. Everything is possible. So there's two things I'm going to explain. The first thing is that any given moment in our lives, we're talking to one of three people. We're either talking to somebody else, we're talking to ourselves, or we're talking to God, or the gods, or the universe, or however you feel like explaining it. I don't care if you're an atheist, you talk to God. It's just what we do. I always say that sarcasm is telling God a joke because nobody else appreciates it. Okay? We're very, very clear that there's this external force that we make reference to. It's like, can you do that? I don't know if I can. I don't know if anybody can. You see? What that does is it stops us with this fixed stare. Why? Because I'm speaking to Assumpta, but I'm trying to think of what I'm going to go and say. Okay, so I'm with me, and then I bring it to her. I bring it to her, and then maybe I come back to me, and then I ask the universe about it. Okay, because otherwise what you get is somebody who's speaking to somebody, and that's all they're doing. They have ideas, concepts, and it didn't come from anywhere because we're fixed on looking somebody in the eye. Now, as we said, according to that study, nobody looks anybody in the eye longer than 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, if we look somebody in the eye for longer than 4 seconds, we move into something that the psychologists call kiss or kill, that we're going to kiss them or we're going to attack them or be attacked. That's the story. That's why it's weird. That's why when you're looking somebody in the eye, after 4 seconds, you start looking at their nose, looking at their mouth, looking at one eye, then the other eye. Okay? It's peculiar. So the trick is, don't try to look at them. Try to not look at the other person. Because when you're not looking at the other person, there's only one other person you can be with, and that's us, the camera. Okay? Look at actors, big stars. Look at how often they don't look at the other actor. How often they go off to think, and that they only come back to the other actor when they really want to make their point. Okay? It's what we do in life, and just as in life, as it is in heaven. No, as we should do when we're acting. Okay?
It's we are now in...
Right.
Vince, hold on. Okay. We are now, Vince, in a period of time in the world where, and also in the acting, that we don't like lies. We don't like people lying at us. We don't like,
lies.
Lies.
Not lice. Lice is piojos.
Oh, piojos. Oh, yes. No. Lies. Right?
Yes, lies.
So, we don't like see acting. We don't like see when an actor does an effort. We want things that they are real, that they come from a real person, not an actor. We are in that particular period of time. That in the 30s and the 20s was completely different. In the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, people really are now in this period of authenticity. That means that the first thing is we have to believe that is a person and that happens to him. We don't want to see any of the acting stuff that makes a lot of noise. So,
can I just tell you
yes.
what he wrote here, because
yes.
this explains a hell of a lot. So often we deal with this,
yes.
and we feel like we're not dealing with the actor.
Yeah.
We're dealing with some bullshit direction they've been given. I was told maintaining eye contact and even not blinking in some cases was crucial for good dramatic performance. Who the hell told you that? No, seriously. If somebody's going to come, look, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Show me the scene where that happens. And I'm sure there's a good justification for it. The idea of not blinking, I can get that, but it's such a technical thing that we shouldn't have to worry about it. The other thing is that when we're focused on something, when we're really intent on something, when we really need to get something done, we don't blink as people. We don't. It's part of our fight or flight response. We just don't blink. We shouldn't actually have to try and do it deliberately. What is really dangerous is the idea of being more dramatic because we don't break our contact with somebody else. There's a film called Ed Gein, and I can't remember the name of the actor.
He's looking.
Ed Gein. He's played by. Let me just see who the hell it is. I can't remember. It's Steve Blackwood. I think Steve Blackwood. Steve Blackwood, who plays Ed Gein. Ed Gein is the basis for Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs and many other things. He was the guy who caught women, killed them, and skinned them and was making a suit. Okay. It's as Francisco says. It's like the advice: keep your eyes open for a long period of time to cry. That's also nonsense. There's many acting myths which actors remember because they seem to be binary in the sense that if I do this, then this happens, right? The trouble with them is they don't work. Okay, the character Steve Blackwood who plays Ed Gein is he gives the most terrifying performance because he doesn't blink in the entire performance, right? But that's what the guy's like. That's what the actor's like. That the actor is a very scary guy because he never blinks, as anybody can tell.
No, but
unfortunately, but let me just get back to this whole thing. This idea of always never blinking, keeping your eye contact is going to make it more dramatic. That's a little bit like less is more. Okay, yes. Less is not more, less is less. If less is more, then nothing would be everything. It's just mathematics. Less is not more. It's like somebody said on Reddit today, a very intelligent thing was said, that when a lot of the time older, more experienced actors tell younger actors that they don't have to do anything. That's because they've forgotten about their entire process, which has gotten to them doing nothing in the most interesting way imaginable.
A lot of actors,
and they're not doing nothing. Yeah. That's the important thing.
A lot of actors of good experience they're gonna tell you, "Oh, I don't do nothing. You just go there and tell the truth." Well, these things, okay, that is okay. But you need to understand what's going on you that you are not able to do certain things naturally.
And that's the other thing. Don't you find there's a great degree where you actually have to deprogram?
Oh, of course.
Bad superstition.
Yes, and this thing of the fixed gaze, or how you call it?
Fixed stare or fixed gaze.
Stare, is very common, and is not when you have a good star quality acting jobs.
And the other thing I would suggest is the actors certainly ones who come from theatre who are used to being there for the other actor. Who are there sort of like participating and actively giving the other actor what they need. Screw that. This is acting. This is a blood sport. You're there to win. You're there to be more interesting and more compelling than the other guy.
See afterwards. Let's go a little bit more after Scott.
Absolutely not. I love you totally and completely. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
I just feel bad for you.
That you didn't need to be, talking to him, because that is a very interesting thing, because you can think about it, you can feel bad about it, you can feel a lot of things that you cannot actually think if you're looking at the person. It's something that you need to go away from that person for you to really have this process of thought, the thought process. So, you know what I mean? If you are also fixed with a person, you cannot do all this. You need a little bit of intimacy to be able to get, things that they are your thoughts. We cannot think and see at the same time. When we are really wanting to have an idea and communicating with you, yes, we are really fixed. But, when we are looking for things, when there is something that actually, hit us, and something that is a surprise that, then you have to have a moment of, of this recollection for yourself. And that is expressed like that. It's expressed like, and then you talk again,
One of the biggest indicators that I find for what I would call movie star acting is the fact that the actor is more with us, i.e. the camera, than they are with the other people in the scene. Something here that Saskia says, which is very astute. She says, yes, for deprogramming. Fixed gaze can sometimes come after being told you have to put all your attention on your partner. That's nice, but unless you're about to have sex with them or punch them in the face, that really doesn't happen in life. What happens is that we're interested in somebody's relationship with themselves. That tells us about who they are.
There is no depth to really communication if you don't have these the ideas that they come to you. It's not real. That's what we do in life. We think, we are surprised, we just go. It's not that we are not attentively what the other person is saying. Of course we are, but we need a moment of recollecting ourselves. Sometimes it's surprise, sometimes is something that is really hits you. Is a revelation, whatever it is, these little thoughts is what they're gonna give you the authenticity that you need in the scenes. It's very important that for you, I think. Of course, you don't have that in theater. Theater, you don't need to do that. Is the contrary.
No, but you should do it. You see, the difference is that the difference between theater, acting in the theater and acting on camera really has to do with the size of the window. The window in theatre is enormous, and behind it there's hundreds and hundreds of people. On camera, the window is tiny. There's a single person behind it, and that's the person who's going to be watching you. It's just one person that you have to relate to. Much in the same way that you speak to somebody and you're aware that your friend is watching you, and you tell things to your friend by projecting your thought towards them. That's your relationship with the camera. You were going to say something.
I forgot.
I was talking about theatre and the difference.
It's because you told me that you come from theatre. It's not that in theatre you don't have to do it. You also have to do it in theatre. But it's more comprehensible. It's more understanding that you do that when you have your past in theatre. Because in theatre, people, it's another way. You have also to do things to the audience, and the reactions also are to them. So it's another set of where is the point of view of the viewer. Here the viewer is not the stage, is all this that you have to do when you're at theater. Here is one person, and when you are speaking to one person is really something that is a law. The law is don't look to the person for more than 4 seconds, because that's what we do in real life.
The other thing is that in terms of acting on camera, the way it works, speaking in as a man who's going thin on top, you've seen guys with a comb over. They grow it long one side and then they comb over the top of their heads. What we have before action is hair. What we have action is hair. We have the truth. We have authenticity. What we got to do is we got to do a comb over of that truth that we had before action and take it through the take until we arrive at the other side after cut. You see, the way we are when we're not acting should be almost indistinguishable from when we are. Now, look, I'm not talking about when we're playing the Joker or we're doing that stuff, okay? Because that's something else. That's what we would call a special. You know what I mean? When we're doing something that's so extreme. But what we've got to do is we've got to take that reality of us before the take and let it carry through the take. There's no such thing as staying in character, but what we can do is stay in the same emotional or hormonal state. The hormonal state is a very particular thing. That's why when we lie, we laugh. That happens a lot. The ironic laughter that actors do is because you're getting a little shoot of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and what you do is you balance that out by laughing, because laughing actually generates endorphins and oxytocin, which makes us feel happier. Okay, so we're constantly doing this micromanagement of hormones. Yes.
And that reminds me
what reminds you,
something that we always say, that is fake it until you make it.
Well, yeah, that's a great.
Because you see,
great thing.
Because you have to make it through to yourself. If you don't feel it, you have to really understand what is this difference between what we do in real life and what we do when we are acting. And then you're going to see that there are things. One thing that we advise our students is that when they have a scene or something like that, just go into a bar and rehearse the scene in a bar. Why is that important? Because if you feel that you
feel that you're acting,
the feel that you are acting, then it's not right. And they are going to start people looking at you like, what
Oh my
the
God.
hell?
Oh my God. Actors.
Exactly. And you don't want that. You want naturalistic expression, so that when you are in front of a camera, all this comes from the right moment and the right part, which is you are telling a story. You are really, sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're sharing your thoughts, and it shouldn't be any more difficult. It should go continuous to be. So when you go to be or not to be, that's the question.
Exactly.
No?
Yes.
Whether it is, that's the thing. You see, the actors in the theatre, they calculate the size of their part by the amount of lines that they have. If you wanted to do it on camera, I would say calculate the size of the part by the amount of time we see you thinking. Okay? The smallest unit of information in the theatre is the word. The smallest unit of information on camera is the thought. And we want to see what you're thinking. We want to see what you want and all the rest of it. Shall we go back to here?
Shall we? Okay, that is my problem. I cannot see it well.
Yeah.
You're a dead man, Alessio. You kill me, he's just gonna send another hitman. He knows about the coup. About Max. No way you or Elena walk out of New York alive.
No way you walk out of this restaurant alive.
That's it. From there, that's it. Because I don't believe the woman. No. I don't believe the man that you have in front of you. I don't believe when the pistol is going like that at the same time that he's talking. I don't believe the scene. And so, these two lines, if you want them, let's technically see that if you can do a little bit more light.
You need to turn up the brightness.
The brightness,
you know, it's not going to look great. You need to turn up the brightness and increase the depth of the shadows, or increase the contrast. You need to do something because we can barely see you. The other problem that we've got here is the presence of the other actor's voice in the scene is more than your voice. Listen, you're recorded at the distance from the camera.
You're a dead man, Alessio.
Okay, there's no presence in your voice.
He's just gonna send another hitman. He knows about the coup. About Max. No way you or Elena walk out of New York alive.
No way you walk out of this restaurant alive.
Yes,
you see?
He has.
Alessio, kill him.
Wait.
See, he has more presence in his voice.
Presence. You don't want that. Remember, you don't want someone else to steal you the show.
If you're the person if it's your shot, the microphone should be close to you.
Oh,
right?
He says this was a student film. That explains a lot of things.
Yeah,
which is,
listen, when
technically.
When it's a student film, I've been involved in student films when I've had to go, hey, don't you think we should put a slate on this or something? Or that mic. I've actually said, because I'm an arrogant idiot, that microphone's too far away. And they go, no, it's okay. And I go, no, it's not. And I go, bring it where it should be, which is about, just under, I would say 3 feet. Let's call it 2.5 feet from your mouth. At a jaunty 30-degree angle pointed at you, because that's where the sound comes from. And I go, listen, go put the headphones on. And they go, put it where it is. Okay, can you hear me now? And they go, yeah. And I go, put it where it was. And they go, all right. You have a certain amount of leeway, maybe it's because of my age and experience with a student film, to tell people that they're doing it wrong. In fact, sometimes you have to tell them that they're doing it wrong.
But when you are there, it's their idea, is their
yeah. Hey, this is an idea.
Crew.
Why don't we just, can I put the microphone a little bit closer?
Yes, you can do that, but
the other problem
really doesn't go well.
No,
because if you know better than them,
well, the other problem
it's a problem for them.
The other problem is that the person who's holding the boom is usually the guy got the short straw, because nobody wants to do it. Okay, nobody wants to go into the sound department. Nobody wants to do it. When you got a good sound person, treat them well, buy them chocolate, send them a fruit basket at Christmas, do all of that stuff, because they're gold.
Yes.
They're absolutely gold.
Okay.
So this is what we got here. So it's not good for sound here.
Now,
so
you feel like dying
just
today,
we don't need this
I very much
phrase.
expect that you
We don't need her phrase.
Swear.
If you want.
What?
Swear your allegiance.
You don't need that.
Pray my father and the Montour
Looks like
crime
Gerard
family.
Depardieu
Work
when
for
he
me,
was young, though.
In a
I'll let
wig.
you walk away with your life.
In a wig, yes.
What are you, crazy? I'm not gonna be a fucking rat. He'll kill me.
Cosa pensi che farò?
Your judo is much better than his Italian. Judo is perfect, but
You remember my old
it's
apartment
not
in
his.
Brooklyn?
Just forget. It's just the first
Meet me
two
there
lines,
tonight.
It's not good. It's not well shot.
Another thing, which is that particular one that we are seeing now here about the interrogatory.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I don't believe you. And that is entire for how the camera is put and how you are acting.
Yeah. This is not good.
This is not
This
good.
is not good. Listen, this is an important thing. Because we have only your best interests at heart, we're going to tell you the stuff that you should get rid of because it does you damage. Okay? Not everybody's as kind as we are. This doesn't work. Okay? One of the reasons it doesn't work is because, like I said, Heath Ledger already did it. Okay? And a very, how would you say, archetypically, you know, and a role where there were no rules whatsoever.
And you remember how was that? Everything was to give him power. You remember it was presented like this beast, you know, like with a window, the crystal thing. Nobody could go into him. You know, everything was like, you know, it was. That is what really gives you the status of being someone dangerous. And here you're so close to the person that you could just go there and just, you know, kill her in 2 seconds. Is also a woman, which is, you know, you're talking about the little girl there. Everything there is things that they are not well thought out, and we can feel that. You're too close to her. You're too big to be able to, and for her to, you know, what she has to do is just yell. and I don't believe her when she does that.
And it's one of the things that I said before. You don't have to show that you're dangerous. You have to know that you're dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that you know that you're dangerous is the moment everybody else will believe it too.
Absolutely.
And the idea is that people are interested in what you're thinking about and how you translate what you're thinking out into what you're saying. Okay? That's what makes presence on camera, is because people are drawn in by thought. When you have a close-up or the shot is, you know, like a tight medium shot or something like that, that is when you're going to do all your best work. That's when you're going to do things that weren't written and act things that nobody could direct. You know, that's why actors consistently are cast. It's not because they're the most amazing, brilliant, organic creatures. No, because they're extraordinarily competent at bringing something to something, you know, that probably wasn't written like that. Okay? Let's go back to where we were.
Ever as it seems.
I don't have time for
You
a
see?
killer like you.
She
Always
has,
about time.
You see, it's like she's playing the attitude and she loses all her power. That's exactly the moment where you should have taken that power and gone, you know, I'm going to eat your brains, eat your liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti. That's what should have happened there.
No, but even that, you know, it's not believable.
No.
You bunch, isn't it? Yet you don't seem to mind wasting it, sitting around, patting each other on the back with your badges and your uniforms and your hypocrisy.
Right. What is your... Let's get back to basics acting 101. What is your action here? Is to intimidate her? Is to frighten her? Is to show that you're clever? Because the trouble is, if what we're seeing is the attitude of the bad guy who's berating somebody. Berating is not a particularly strong action. But if I'm seeing here with all your badges and your uniforms, and you're basically highlighting how none of that is meaningful. Okay? Because you have the power here. You see the difference between trying to show your power compared to knowing your power.
You don't have to raise your voice. When a person, remember how he, Hannibal Lecter was actually doing it? He was always very, very low. He was never emotion, never show anything. Why? Because, you know, you're weak when you have an emotion, because then you show your weaknesses, your vulnerability. So that's why, you know, a person that wants to have this high status, why he has to yell? No, he's much more powerful than that.
And I would suggest, my hypothesis is that comes from working on the text and how you began to sing the text when you learned it. Okay? And that's a relic of how we actually, you know, remember all these things that we're supposed to be saying. And we remember the words, and the words seem to have a particular attitude, and we're swept along with that attitude. The trouble is that if we're acting simply from the point of view of attitude, it's that people switch off really, really quickly because there's no visible action present.
You see, the problem with the things when we go to a limit is that we don't have anywhere else to go. We are already up there. And what is interesting is all this range until you get there. If you that is really the interesting thing. Is the way, not the result. It's not when you arrive. Is what it happened before you arrive. All this is for acting is a process of thoughts. And that's what we want to see, because if we see results, if we see a man screaming, we see a woman screaming, it's already too late. We already, it's okay. So, and you don't give me any place to hang and say, okay, that's going to happen. That is what. No, it's already there. Everything is there. All your, okay, you are enfadado. How you say?
Angry.
You are angry. Okay, and so you're angry. Okay, so
yeah, but
don't worry. Tomorrow it's going to be different.
Yeah, but the trouble is, anger comes from somewhere.
Yep, this is what I mean.
Anger comes from something. Sometimes when somebody wants something they can't get.
Exactly, is the way into there that is much more interesting than when the people are screaming. So that's why the things that they are extreme. They are a result of something, and we don't want to see results. Public audiences want to see the way, the difficulties, the action, the objective, the strategy,
the thought behind it. Yeah,
the
strategy
thought behind it. That's what is really interesting for us as an audience.
And the thing is that with the actress here, let me just go back to where. So we got her. You to give it some badass stuff.
I don't have time for a killer like you.
Wow. No.
So I would literally, if that was me and you just did what I'd done, my answer would have been, I don't have time for a killer like you. And what we're talking about strategy and we're talking about tactics. That would have messed you up totally. Unless you said, I need you to shout at me because then I need to come back at you. I've seen actors doing that.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that's
either.
awful when actors go, can you just shout at me there so I get something to come back? Because they've decided what they want to do and they need to have the trigger.
Exactly.
But I would go, I'm not going to, I don't have to tolerate a killer like you. And then what happens is, well, that's like, there's my move, buddy. That's
kryptonite.
Check.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Check, exactly.
It's a little bit like when you see the interplay between Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. She's terrified of him. He knows that she's terrified of him, but he can't get out. But he has something that she wants, which is his knowledge and his perverse intellect. She needs that. So what he does is he climbs under her skin by telling her exactly who she is. When he does that whole, you wear l'air du temps, but not today. Right?
Yes, I remember that.
Not only can he tell what perfume we wear, he can tell that you wore it yesterday and not today. That's a great piece of showing, not telling, from the point of view of the screenwriter, because it means this man has the senses of an animal,
and has a lot of saying to us. It's like saying, okay, she doesn't have time to shower. She's a busy lady. She works so hard. That is what, in our imagination, that, each person is gonna think differently. But I mean, if there is enough space and there's enough time, you can really, wow. You are all the time excited because you are really generating, a lot of different thoughts, because it's not clear, because there is no result.
It's like the scene in The Departed when Jack Nicholson executes a man and a woman on a beach. Ray Winston is there beside him. He shoots the man first and then he shoots the woman. And when the woman falls, he goes, she fell funny. Right? And Ray Winston says, his character says, you're sick in the head. Right? You should speak to somebody about that. What does that tell us? Just that. She fell funny. Right? There's no inflection you could put there, because the fact that he just executed somebody, and the thing which occurred to him was she fell funny. And the other guy goes, and the other guy who's also another violent assassin goes, you're sick.
which is also very interesting.
I mean, obviously, but the thing is, the irony is not for them. The irony is for us, the audience.
Yes, and it makes us
and what it
realize
tells
things.
us about these two psychopaths.
A lot of things, you know. One
they don't think they're psychopaths.
No, of course not, and that is what is really interesting for us.
You know,
okay, let's see more.
She felt funny. She felt funny, you know. So they've got that going on.
Always about time with you bunch, isn't it? Yet you don't seem to mind wasting it, sitting around, patting each other on the back with your badges and your uniforms and your hypocrisy.
It's all about time with you people, and you don't seem to mind wasting it. You know, it's just that everything is. It's not designed for cameras, sir. This doesn't work on camera. This may work in another context, but on camera, we're not buying it because everything is pushed. All the text is clean, and it's all you're doing is you're saying the text that sounds the right way. Okay, this would work as a voiceover. This would work well.
It's a design, you know. It's a design of a character instead of being there real at the moment. You know, it's sometimes the actors, you know, rehearse at home. And then they have a design of things. They say, okay, here I'm going to say it like that. Here I'm going to say it like that. Here I'm going to say, and even if it's a monologue or you know or a piece of text, then of course that is how they're going to see it because once you know they felt something and they want to repeat it then. But you see, there is bad news here. When you are there,
all bets are off.
You don't have something to go after. Anything.
It's also
you have to be just there, seated on your comfortable whatever chair they're gonna put you, or in your feet, and just say it. Say it in the way that you would say it at that moment with someone believable, because that you know it's not a character. It's not something that we are trying to reach. Is some design that we have in our heads how that someone said it. No, it's you. And it's your authenticity where it's gonna, make us wow, because everyone is different. So you don't have to go for originality or for creativity. You are creative. Whatever you do, I'm not gonna do it. So is wonderful. That's the first thing. The first lesson that I remember I had when I was teaching someone. Wow, this person, every single person is like universe. They do things so differently. They think differently. They react to things in another way. An analysis of a text analysis is never the same because people are coming from different places, and that is so beautiful. And that's what we want to see, not some design of some idea of what the character's attitude is. That is not interesting for us today. For the acting today, I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. Today, we want authenticity 100 or 150%. Really. Huh? Okay.
The other thing, which is a great trick. Now, this is a trick. So, be careful who you share this with. This trick comes from two actors. One is David Caruso, famous for CSI. And the other one is and NYPD Blue and everything else like that. It was the golden boy back in the day in the 90s. And the other one is Tom Hardy. Let the games begin. Tom Hardy, never afraid to never be understood. One of the things that they do, both of them do, which is they actively avoid ever looking anybody in the eye. You see, there's a reason for that. If I'm talking about something, and the guy I'm speaking to is there, right? If I want to intimidate the person, I'm not even going to look at them. I'm going to have my own thoughts and my own ideas, and I'm going to explain what I'm talking about. And then at the end of it, if they're lucky, I'll look at them, right? What that means is they can't cut to the other person. They have to stay on me. They only cut to the other person when I look at the other person, right? Because otherwise what it's doing is it's completely breaking the connection that I have with the camera, the audience.
Yes.
Right? They're not going to break that connection because the audience will go like, what are you doing? Right? You see that. Go back and watch David Caruso in CSI Miami, I believe it is. Go back and watch him. You'll see he doesn't look at anybody, and he'll be doing something weird. We have a whole thing with his sunglasses and everything else. He's basically
controlling.
He's playing chess with the editor, and the editor's like, fucking just give me a moment, and he'll go da 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 da. You know, he'll be playing chess up in county from here on in. He'll take his glasses off, and then he'll look at the guy, right? And they can't cut. They got to stay on him, right? The fact of the matter is that we are weakened when we look at somebody and we're not bringing anything. Okay? Because the idea is if I'm looking at somebody, I'm going to keep looking at them, and I want to make sure that what I'm saying affects them. Another easy way to look at it is that we look at somebody, and when we're talking, we want to change the expression on their face. We want to see them. We want them to understand what we're saying, because we're speaking for a reason, not just to do some savage gangster shit. Right? We're speaking for a very specific reason. I'm convincing them. I'm intimidating them. I'm frightening them. I'm confessing to them. I'm telling them the truth, whatever it might be. It's got to be something along those lines. Let's go to the end of this.
Hypocrisy. When you could save so much time by just looking right in front of you. Better hurry, detective. You've got a little girl to find.
There's not a single bar in this town you can hide.
Okay, if I was the director at that point, I would go, don't do the the singing little girl thing at the end. And the actor might go, why? And I go, because it's the sort of thing an actor would do. Mm-hmm. Ideas of that sort are the enemy of the actor. Okay, you get a lot of time when you got a long rehearsal period. The actor goes, "Well, I was thinking," and you go, "Just do it. Stop messing around. Just do it." If your job is not to make the text more interesting, okay, your job is to make it sound real. David Mamet says in his book True and False, which I highly recommend for everybody, True and False: Heresy for the Actor. The opening quote in the book is from Robert Houdin, the magician, who says, "A magician is an actor pretending to be a magician." Okay? There we go. The director was the one who gave me the idea to sing. Okay. I would have looked him in the eye and said, no. You do it. Right?
Well, Vince...
I've read True and False. Well, okay, so one of the things in True and False it says that the actor's job is not to make the dialogue more interesting. It's not our job. Our job is to play it with an honest action and conviction. I think David Mamet takes it a little bit too far. When you see a lot of his films, when you got Mamet fundamentalists, I think it becomes so uninflected and flat that it's not real. Okay? I do love his work for the most part, but what it lacks is that charm. It lacks that wink which is necessary a lot of the time. But they're all worthy. They're all worthy things to see.
Of course. Let's see the
Okay, the next one.
Piss off.
Look, I know you think you can walk away from this, but trust me when I say it's not that simple. The boss will wreck anybody and break any bones he needs to get what he wants. I don't want to see you in the way of that.
There is no reason. There is no reason why you should keep looking at him after he just grabbed you by the lapel.
No. You give them all the power of the world. No, you have the power there.
No, it's like
we have to think what he's going to do.
Grab me by the shirt. It's no. All right. I'm not engaging with you right now. Okay, you've stepped over a line. That's it. Okay, I'm not. You want to talk to me? Fine, I'll listen. But I'm not going to give you the,
Exactly. You have to.
Because otherwise, you move back into look. Do the shirt thing again. All right. So you got okay. Let's go. Okay. So that's what I've got now. I have to move forward and intimidate you. But the trouble is you've got all the lines. So what am I going to do? Punch you?
Exactly.
So what you've done is you're left there with your dick in your hands and nowhere to go.
And I understand why you felt bad.
Leave the gun, take the cannolis. I mean, that's
why you felt bad when you were shooting it, and that's why you remember that is something that you don't like, because you don't have way to go. You don't have you don't have
an out.
An out. Yes, you are there. Okay, you know what I mean. And so you didn't have this ability to be able to make us think exactly make us share what you were thinking. Is like, I'm gonna kill the guy, and now I have to listen to him, and then all these things happen while he's talking.
If there's anything that is useful in a reel, the first thing you have to show is competence. Okay, that's what anybody's looking for. The actors who work all the time, they're not the greatest actors in the world, of course not, but they're incredibly competent. Okay, occasionally you get very, very competent actors who happen to be the greatest ones in the world, and they're few and far between. Everybody else is just very, very good at playing the game. Okay, that's very important. A film crew will prefer a highly technical actor over some extraordinary talent who doesn't know how to hit a mark. Acting on camera is a very, very specific skill set, and it's a very, very specific acting space to inhabit. The thing is that very often you'll get directors, very often inexperienced directors, who will ask things of you that you know in your heart of hearts they are hokey, cliched, and they quite simply don't work. Okay? You can nod, smile, and go, yeah, okay, I'll do that, and then you don't do it. Okay? And if they go, please do that, and you go, why? It's such a cliche. Now, if there's one thing that directors understand, it's that they're trying to be original. And suggesting that something is a cliche usually turns them off it. Remember, the trick with directors is to always make them think that your idea was their idea to begin with. I know it's a little sneaky, but we're dealing with people who have an ego sufficiently sizable to think that they can direct a movie or a short film. That's just what we're dealing with. What we've got going on here is we've got this idea that somebody's planted in your head that to be dramatic you have to keep staring at somebody and not blink. It's not true.
It's not
on
true.
that list for a long time. We all are.
But you're on top of that list. Do yourself a favor. Get on the boss's good side.
Looking at him.
I'm already a dead
and
man.
then
you turn away from us.
Yes. No.
To add insult to injury, you turn away from the camera.
No, please.
Turn to us.
Turn to us.
Don't
You
turn
have
away.
this space also. You have to understand the frame where it is for really being a technician.
This is the equivalent of this happening. So tell me something, Assumpta.
I'm telling you.
Tell me to go to hell.
Can you go to hell, please? Yeah, no.
All right, tell me to go to hell again.
Can you go to hell, please?
All right.
Now we understand things.
Okay, so that's instinctually find where the camera is. Set your feet against it. Let's finish off here.
Yeah, why? No, please, no. But you see, now he, of course, takes all the power on the scene.
He's got it. The thing is, if there's anything that we want to see apart from competence in a showreel, it's to have the opportunity to watch the actor thinking. Okay? Now that sounds like a little counterintuitive. Oh, I'm going to watch a showreel where all I'm seeing is their thinking. If I can see their thought processes, it means I have a relationship with the actor on screen. It means I'm interested in what they want, what they're doing, what their dreams are, what their objective in that particular moment is. I am connected with them. The trouble is that most people have a tendency to act like supporting characters. Until, even in their own reels, they're acting like supporting characters. What do supporting characters do? Well, they don't try to relate to the camera. There are certain actors who refuse to work with other actors because they know that actor will kick their ass in a scene because they know how to play the game. You've experienced that. You experienced that in that movie.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You're experiencing that in a movie where the leading actor got very annoyed because you know how to play the game.
Yeah.
And the actor was like, can you just not? And you're like, these are the rules, baby.
Exactly.
If you don't want to play with the rules.
I'm not going to play bad for you. I mean, I'm going to play my role and I'm going to defend my role. And, that's it. So, that was really something, yes.
Look, we have to finish. Look, Vince, I hope you can take all this with the spirit that it's intended, which is the best for you. There's a lot of people who are going to criticize you or say things are wonderful, and most of the time people may be coming from either a good place or a bad place, but there's one thing I can guarantee is they're coming from a place of ignorance. Okay? It's one thing to criticize something, it's another thing to suggest how things should work and how they can be done better. Okay? Vince says, I certainly learned a few things. Good. That's the most important thing for us. The other thing that we've discovered is that we will have spent more time looking at, analyzing, and offering solutions and points of view with your acting than any acting teacher has ever done for you in your life. Okay? And that's another very, very important thing, is that actors sometimes feel that they are not given a positively critical point of view that not only is saying everything that's either right or wrong, but is also offering for solutions for the things that don't work.
Exactly, and that's what you have to look for. Don't trust people that they are not going to give you solutions, because that is not right,
And we have to challenge people. Whether you're in a Meissner class and you're doing, your second hour of the repetition exercise, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going, why in the name of God's green earth are we doing this, please? Can somebody just explain this to me? If they go, stop thinking so much, you go, listen, Cupcake, the reason I'm thinking so much is because none of this makes any sense. Don't ask me to put my hand in the fire and not explain why.
Yes, of
okay?
course.
There's the teachers, acting teachers, coaches, and everybody else, they should have their feet put to the fire always. If you don't understand something, that's not your fault, that's their fault. Something doesn't make sense, that's something you have to ask them about.
If it's not useful, that is also their fault. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish here.
Let's finish here, Vince. Whatever you've got my email address right now. Let me know how it was. Let me know if it was useful for you. Tell your friends. Tell anybody else who might be interested in what we're doing. We've been doing this. We've been teaching for 23 years, and we've been analyzing showreels.
Unfortunately, only in this part of
only for the last 3
globe.
years. Yeah, we do most of the time in Spanish. We have enormous resources there in Spanish. But if anybody out there who has friends or colleagues who you think could benefit from what we're doing here, it's easy. You just need to send it to scott@familiadecine.com. Remember, if you're on YouTube, whether just now or in the future, subscribe to the channel. Give us a like. Check out our playlists. There's a playlist which is specifically in English. For example, we have some interviews with people in English, and we also have sort of some of our basic philosophies about acting and a lot of analysis of showreels, which I think show incredibly well.
The problems that one might have in any circumstances, because there is a lot of different, people had been, showing their show reels for all over. I mean, England, America. So you can see different things there, and I think it's interesting for you if you have some time to really look into whatever we did in English show reels, right?
Yeah, there's a few people. Ryan Stattersill is a magnificent show reel. He actually has a police interrogation in his.
Which one?
Ryan Statterstill.
Oh, that is
Chicago.
One of the good ones, right?
Yeah. It's
Look
pretty
at
much
that.
a perfect.
Look at this one. Yes.
It's very important. I mean, the thing is, Vince, that you've got to.
The problem with a film, a problem with if we are watching films to be able to imitate whatever we are seeing, it's a problem. First of all, the technical stuff is never going to be there. You know what I mean? So to compare yourself with someone that also has a video, show reel, is interesting, because it's in more or less the quality of conditions that you have, and there you're going to see the effort that the people do to do it better, and that's what we always have to do. We always have to reach a point of competence that we are really happy and proud of where we are showing to others. And that, if you don't like the scene of the bar, take it away, because if you are not proud,
it's not doing you any harm.
No,
Remember, they're not casting an actor. They're casting somebody who they can believe is a real person. That's just what they need. They need somebody who can pull off that they're a real person. There's something I say to actors when it's getting to the stage where their performances, I'm really buying it. I go, okay, now hide the acting. Now convince me that you're not acting. And it's a little bit like that thing, I call it the prank principle. When you're playing a prank on somebody and you made them believe that somebody just stole their car, or you lost their keys, or whatever the hell it is. That moment when you're pulling the prank on them, that's the best acting you'll ever do, because you are distorting reality. You're misrepresenting a lie as the truth, and you're convincing somebody that something is real. That idea of convincing somebody else that something is real so they don't think that you're acting, that's the objective. And that's what we need in film and TV these days.
And you see what happened to him in this last chunk that he was talking to you? He was really looking at you, But that is because, that is a presenter thing. We don't have you here. If we would have you here, we would know when you say yes, because you, at that point, you would say yes. So Scott would look for another strategy to talk to you about things. You see, that's what we want, because now he was more than 4 seconds looking at you. And why was that? It's because he didn't have you as a mirror, to actually understand that you already got it. And because we don't have that, the presenters are all the time, having more effort to actually communicate with others, okay? But it's not really what the people do in life.
No.
Exactly.
Not really, no.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks,
for all
Vince,
of you.
and thank you for sending me those links on Reddit. Anybody who's interested, there's a very active subreddit called Acting. There's a lot of very smart people there. I go there every day. There's always interesting things to share and learn and see what people are up to. There's a lot of people who are starting out who want to know how it works. Putting yourself out there and sharing this with us and sharing this with anybody, it takes a pair of steel balls. And that's one of the reasons that we take very seriously the responsibility when people send us their material. There are times when people have sent us their material, and I have contacted them directly and said, "Listen, I can't review this. You've got to totally rethink your reel. It's
do that.
It's really not working. You have to take it down. This is going to do you more harm than good. Please."
Exactly.
Please take it down. Particularly when people are working in different languages. A lot of the time we'll have a Spanish actor who's got a reel that they've done in English, and they're trying to show that they speak English, and I watch it and I go, I don't understand a damn thing that you're saying. Yes. And I speak Spanish, So there's many different things. What I would do is I would think of something which is quieter, much more intimate. The thing of you in the car is a great example of when you're flying, you're doing that
commitment,
thing. You do that.
That's great.
Awesome. But I also need to see the other thing.
Yes.
I need to see you thinking. I need to see you looking out of the window in the rain, wondering what you're going to do with your life, or why she didn't call you, or
making sense of it all,
or what you're going to do next.
Yes.
That's what I need. I need the thing where me as an audience, me as the viewer, is investing in what's going on inside you. That you don't have to show me, you don't have to push it to me, you don't have to inflect it in my general direction. You just give me a chance to invade your head and what's going on there.
Thank you very much to you all.
Right, and that's to everybody, and we're going to go eat. Thank you very much, Vince, again. Thanks to Francisco, Enrique, and everybody else who's been with us on this lengthy journey. And I hope that you, Vince, you can appreciate where it's coming from. There's so many people out there who think they're experts in all of this. They go, "Oh no, you need to do Meissner. Oh no, you need to do the method. You need to do Strasberg. No, you need to go Grotowski, etc." The actual real answer is you need to do what works for you. And the basic thing you need to compare yourself to is not other actors. It's not what the teacher says. You have to compare it to you being authentic and real on a daily basis, and what makes you what you are. Okay.
You have a great potential. You just have to use it in the right way.
Yeah, and seriously, as a sort of sidebar, your voice, I think you can have a voiceover career. Okay? You really could have a voiceover career. You're going to go, how do I do that? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to find somebody who's got a microphone and a sound card, and you're going to record it in a place where there's no echo, and you're going to lift something out of cartoons, and you're going to record some animated voices. And you're going to put together an animation reel. Then you're going to find somebody in Miami who's a voiceover agent, and you're going to send it to them. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to go, I'm a voiceover guy. Because you can do that all day. It's easy for you. I can hear it. You go, you can...
And that's money.
You can make a living, and
money.
you'd be very good at it. And I'm not saying that because forget the other thing. I'm not saying that at all.
No, the contrary. Yeah.
But do that. That's the state. That's what you do.
He says, I'll certainly start looking into it.
Yeah, look seriously. This is all the advice you need. Find some stuff. Take it off some animations, whatever it might be. It could be Looney Tunes. I don't care. Record it. Make something that lasts a minute.
Invent some voices.
Yeah, do all that whole kind of thing. Look up voiceover agents in Miami, and then send them your material. Everybody's looking for the next nice voice that they can throw in their roster.
Now, yes, good night.
Now, good night, sweet prince and princes and princesses, and may flights of angels send thee to thy rest.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. And remember, onwards
and upwards.
Oh, was there different credits?
I don't know.
Did they look like those were different credits? Did you see that?
Different credits?
Yeah, where the hell did that come from?
I don't know.
How weird. Anyway, this is our after show. Thanks for being here. We're going to be back tomorrow. Do we have an interview tomorrow?
Let me see.
Because last time we had an interview, it just said Jaime, and we were like, "Who the hell is Jaime?" Do you know anybody called Jaime?
It's true.
Have a look. Have a look. See what it says.
No.
Who is this Jaime of which you speak?
I don't know if we have someone.
Go on. Open another tab. You've only got 4,000 open right now.
I know. I remember my tabs.
What do we have? No, we don't have one.
No, here, Friday. Hold on a second. It's a little bit slow today.
Yeah.
No, we don't have.
We don't have anything. So tomorrow.
No, what we have is on Monday. On Monday we have Arturo Menor, the guy from Iberia. That is on Monday.
Iberia, what, the airline?
No, Iberia, the
the guy.
movie.
Oh yeah, the guy who's the naturalist.
Yes, very
Not
nice
to be confused with
person.
the naturist. You know, a naturalist is somebody who's into nature, and a naturist is somebody who walks around naked.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I like to do next Thursday?
What would you like to do?
I like to do for the English-speaking people. I like to interview one of the SAC members, and that they tell us a little bit how these things are now.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah, I can find somebody.
Somebody.
That sounds an idea. Okay.
I like to have that next Thursday.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to put my light back on. There we go.
Yes, you're much better.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure, and good night. God bless, and all the rest of it. Yeah, let's go eat. Bye for now.
Bye.